Hi everyone, my name is Anthony and welcome to this month's Lunch and Learn, where we focus on time, our most valuable currency. Before we begin, we want to mention that this information is meant for educational purposes only and should not be interpreted as medical or financial advice. Enjoy! Time is truly our most limited resource. Whether you count your time by the week, by the day, or by the hour, you know that once that unit of measure runs out, you can't get it back. This differs from money, where we earn more and spend what we need in order to live, while also saving as much as possible. However, we really should be treating our time as preciously as we do the number in our bank account, because eventually the sand will run out. And once that last grain falls down, would you rather be aimlessly spending that time overly stressing or doing the things you care most about with the people you care most about? So, where does our time go? It's easy to think about the big things, those that repeat themselves every day and are the most meaningful, such as family and work. And while these things do make up most of our day, it's important to consider the smaller things, like the time we lose in our commute or the time we choose to spend on leisure activities. Being conscious about how you spend all aspects of your time, even down to your wait time for your morning coffee, can lead to a big accumulation of productive time, something research says we strive to obtain. But in order to digest our time usage, we must first dive into an important societal question. Why do we feel so busy? To begin to understand our feeling of busyness, we need to also understand the feeling of idleness. Idleness is when we have nothing to do or have low engagement in the work we're doing. We feel unproductive and we feel we are wasting time. We as humans strive to avoid this feeling, not only because it can cause boredom, but also because research continuously shows that this feeling of time wasting can also cause anxiety, possibly because we become more aware of the use of this limited resource. Thus, we strive for a sense of busyness in our lives. Feeling busy promotes self competence and self efficacy in our work, allowing us to feel that we are successfully fulfilling our purpose in life. Additionally, the sense of busyness also bestows upon us a sense of social status. When we feel busy, we feel important, as if our time is in high demand. Now that we have a basic introduction into these two concepts, let's dive a little deeper. First, it's important to make the differential note between idleness and leisure. In our working lives, we might at times feel that taking time for ourselves with leisure activities is also a waste of our time, forcing us to stress about what we could have gotten done. However, research does not support this. True idleness makes us feel as if time is slipping away, while when we generally partake in leisure activities, we become engaged with the sensation and use that time as a productive means of recharging ourselves as we take a break from the demands of work. This is important to do, as research shows that as we become more stressed and overworked, we become overall less productive, something I'm sure you've experienced yourself. Thus, it's important to take time for yourself. Additionally, while we do strive for that sense of busyness, it's also important to note that this desire can have negative effects as well. When two friends are catching up, it's not uncommon for one or both to say they've been extremely busy. But how busy are we really? And how much busier are we than the average person? Remember, we look at busyness as a form of social status, so it's not uncommon to overglorify our workload to feel important. But to truly understand whether we are actually busy or just chasing busyness, we must take a hard look at what we do throughout the day. Being busy can be rewarding. Chasing busyness can be stressful. To begin to understand the negatives of busyness, we must dive into how this feeling plays a big role throughout our society. Americans today feel much busier than our predecessors did decades ago. However, it is important to note that we are actually working less today than we have in past decades. This is due to us trading in the traditional 40 hours of labor for a more creative workforce. This means that we are no longer working a production line, but rather have deadlines solving one problem at a time. However, one reason we feel busier is because we are still treating our work hours similar to how we did in the factory. We want to feel like we accomplish something every day and to have those accomplishments measured. But the problem is that each day what we get done is not the same. This inconsistency that can result from our workday can result in a feeling of idleness, that thing we want to avoid, leading to high levels of stress. To avoid this feeling, we strive for a consistent feeling of busyness, even if that means trading in productive tasks for quick, meaningless activities. This can manifest itself in repeatedly checking your email, making multiple trips to the supply closet, or randomly checking your filing system, among other things. If we feel lost towards a big project, we would much rather find something short term to do than to face the silence of sitting and thinking. In this conversation about purposeful time usage, we must discuss a relatively new concept: time fragmentation. This term is used by researchers to describe the use of digital technologies and social media in our free time. In our mindset of idleness aversion, we feel the need to fill any empty time slots in our day, regardless of the productivity value. Think about a time when you had a small wait, whether while waiting for your coffee, your doctor, in airport security, or before a meeting. Chances are you most likely grabbed your phone and scrolled through your social media or maybe checked your email. This is an excellent example of idleness aversion and one that results in poor use of those small pockets of time. And while this phenomenon may be connected to technology, we have it naturally programmed into our brains as well, meaning our brains refuse to accept that free time. Research has shown that when two groups of participants are given a simple task and more time to complete it than they need, they will choose to fill that time by walking around rather than to sit in a room, and that those who sat in the room felt more stressed than those who walked around. But is reaching for our phones really the solution? Research is showing that our brains aren't quite sure how to adapt to our digital evolution, and a shortened attention span is the result. Microsoft did a study and showed that over three-quarters of people who have grown up with technology and are more comfortable with its usage are likely to reach for their phones when they don't have something to occupy their thoughts, and that this has resulted in a drop of attention span from about 12 seconds to 8 seconds. In contrast, the goldfish, who has naturally been seen as an animal that lacks the ability to focus, has an attention span of 9 seconds. So how do we address this poor time usage and organize the system to maximize that time? First, begin by determining what's worth your time. We discussed that each person may count their time differently, such as day to day or week to week. But overall, once that unit is counted, you want to have maximized it for your benefit. While we may not necessarily be able to control our work assignments or commuting our children around, we do have control about how we spend our free time. For instance, if a friend asks you for minor help, like moving, on a day where you have planned something relaxing and enjoying for yourself, such as after a stressful week at work, consider which one of those options will allow you to reflect positively on that time usage. Similarly, if you have plans to redo the cabinets in your kitchen, but the weather is perfect to take your family fishing, it doesn't really make sense in the grand scheme of things to miss out on that memory. Next, make productivity to-do lists for things like work or home chores. This means that you list your truly most important items first, ending with things that could be done on a different day. This will help you feel a sense of accomplishment at the end of the day and help keep your mind on the truly most important tasks rather than engaging in those idleness aversion techniques we spoke about, like checking your email frequently. Finally, don't forget that you don't have to fill all of your free time and you're allowed to enjoy those moments of silence. Use them to reflect on your past week or consciously plan for the future week. You can choose to pick up a book or work on your mindfulness as well. Whatever you choose, allow it to follow your interest in the moment. If you begin to view your time as your most precious commodity, you'll begin to experience a wide range of benefits, such as decreased stress, time to partake in personal interests, success at work, as well as time for exercise, friends, and family. Remember, it's your time. Be protective of it and don't let the world fully dictate your life story because eventually it'll be you reflecting on the whole experience. All in all, live a life worth remembering. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today and hope you were able to take away some valuable perspectives on your time value. Also, if you ever have any questions about your health and fitness journey, we at the Place for Wellness would love to have a conversation with you. Thank you.